Okay. Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Polkadot broadcast, and Kristen here. And for this broadcast, it is the monthly roundtable. It's a September roundtable, and in September, there's a lot of there's uh, this month full of important progress in Polkadot ecosystem. The Polkadot 2.0, the hydration released the HOLLAR stablecoin. Also, Gavin mentioned that he will, there will be a pUSD to be the to be the stablecoin that adopted in the treasury and will be widely used in the Polkadot ecosystem. There are huge progresses, and the community, Ross cares a lot about them. So we've invited three distinguished guests to break it all down for us, and it's Brian, the CTO of Akala, and Tyrene, the dev rel of Bifrost, and Pacman, the co-founder of Kylix, and welcome you all guys.
Thank you.
Okay, I think first of all, I would invite each of you to give us some background information of yourself and your project, so that we can set up the stage for our further discussion. So how about we kick it off from Brian?
Yeah. Hi everyone. This is Brian from Akala. We're actually working on quite a few projects. We're currently focusing a lot of efforts focusing on the Gem, building Gem client. We're also currently working on a pUSD projects with Gap. Yeah.
Okay, welcome. Next, let's welcome Tyrene.
Hey guys, this is Tyrone from Bifrost. We are building liquid staking platform on Polkadot, and now it's the largest one. So the next step is trying to deliver some more novel ideas about, votes, stable coins, and also the collaboration between liquid staking token and stablecoin as well. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, welcome. Last but not least, let's welcome Pacman.
Hi guys, Pacman here. I've been working in the Polkadot ecosystem for quite some time. I've worked with many Polkadot projects before. I've been a big fan of DeFi, and that's why we're building Kylix Finance, which is a DeFi protocol in Polkadot. Brian from Akala, I've been a big fan of Akala as well. When it first came out, I was very big fan of the liquidity pools and lending pools and stuff. And the idea comes, using DeFi protocols for quite some time. So that's how we started founding Kylix Finance.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, Pacman. And we can see that you made a lot of contributions to the Polkadot ecosystem. It's great to have you here. And okay, because in our monthly roundtable, and the regular section is to share some key progress from your project in September. So so first I will invite Brian to give us some important updates you're gonna share with us, the project you are working on. But it would be great if you can touch on, the latest updates on Gem.
Yeah, sure. So I think we have the 0.7.2 version of the gray paper being released. It doesn't introduce a lot of significant changes, mostly minor improvements and bug fix. I think Gavin is working on a few more, or the party team is working on a few more last major changes to the gray paper before before actually having a release candidate version of it. So it's almost there, but still a few more big things missing. For the implementation teams, everyone is working with Fuzzer. So the Web3 Foundation have created a Fuzzer protocols to test all the different clients. There are, I forgot how many teams, probably 15 or something teams have been enrolled to the fuzzing operation. to test the client performance. So there are a lot of bugs have been discovered for everyone. So people are busy fixing bugs. They are also benchmarking and performance testing. Found out there are some things building very fast clients, almost as fast as the one the party is building. So we're also spending sometimes improving the performance as well. Yeah, I think that's the updates for the gen. Yeah. So the other things, our current focus is the pUSD protocol. So this one is Gavin's idea is basically well, he always been, I believe he have talked about a native Polkadot stablecoin for quite many times. So now he have decided how exactly it's going to be implemented, and that is by leveraging the existing code that HOLLAR have developed to deploy then on the asset hub. And of course, not just copy paste, but with a lot of new improvements and new changes to make it suit exactly the needs of the Polkadot. Because the requirements of the pUSD is quite different compared to other stable coins.
Okay, thank you for sharing. It's very important information to know. Okay, next, Pacman, and if there's some very big information you want to share with us about Calyx and all, and the important part I wonder, I would like you to share is the AI and the DeFi lending part. I think there's a big involvement of your project.
Yeah. So at the moment, just to start answer your first question, so Calyx, we're very close to TGE. I think we're just on our last kind of audit now. We're doing our front end, back end, all the code is complete. We're just making sure everything runs smoothly, and we have our testnet is live as well. And then the AI, I think is a big narrative. So we actually are integrating AI in a way where user actually doesn't know that they're really using AI. But it's, for example, in terms of, when somebody uses collateral for borrowing or lending. So, there's risk management as well, capital efficiency with AI. AI can actually tell you, for example, let's say, for example, you take Bitcoin, for instance, and you're borrowing against it. So AI can looking at the market trends, it can tell you potentially, this is how it has been, and potentially these are your risks involved if you are, or for example, if you're using, if you don't know a token, or if you don't know a new project, or for example, if somebody just launches a meme coin or something, it can actually gives you a lot of insights on the data, on how you can protect yourself and avoid being liquidated. And then also AI is involved in security side of things, because usually irregular or very unusual transactions will have to be manually kind of monitored, but AI just automatically picks them up. So there's a lot of abnormal activity that can be monitored by AI. So there's quite a lot of things that we are integrating, and this is why our development process has taken quite a long time now. We've been building this for well over a year now. We've won our parachain in September last year, and actually exactly a year ago, and we still haven't gone live. So it's a very it's a very intense development process, but I'm quite glad that we're nearing the end now. So we should be going live in Q4 this year.
Okay, cool. So for the first version of Calyx, which part, you will use AI?
And so there is two sides of it. For example, so one is the user experience, like I mentioned, capital risk and efficiency. And then we also have, for example, AI can also, so we have liquidity vaults on different chains. I think I mentioned, or maybe for people that don't know, so Calyx Finance is basically a multi-chain lending and borrowing protocol. So it's not just limited to Polkadot. So we'll have Solana, Sui, Ethereum, all different chains. And then we have liquidity vault on these chains. So AI can also project, for example, if a liquidity vault is going to be low in liquidity, so we can adjust it beforehand before anything happens. So the AI is going to be pretty much involved in, I would say, most of our kind of features, as well with smart liquidations as well. So let's say, for example, there is a big news coming, and usually happens a lot from the US, a big news coming, and the markets can go either way, and you have a liquidity position, you have borrowed against an asset. So AI can then notify you saying there is a big news coming, you might be liquidated, or you might need to do something to secure your position to avoid liquidation. So AI will be able to like kind of project all these things. And obviously these are just predictions. These are not like set in stone. This is not 100%. We can only just like AI can only guide people or give people some sort of guidance and information, and then it's ultimately up to the user to decide whether they want to use this information or still do their own research and make a decision accordingly.
Okay, very yeah, it's good to hear, and to be part of AI is very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Next, let's move to Tyrene. What's the most important progress you want to share about Bifrost, and also it'd be great if you can touch on the V dot voting delegation part.
Yeah, sure. So VDOT delegation is a new function that we launched based on the referendum voting by using VDOT, and right now is a new function to launch for delegation. So do you mind if I share my screen for a couple of minutes? So that might be
Okay.
interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Officially
Okay. Now.
launch this function yet. Oh, sorry.
Okay. It's not. Okay. It's
You
now
can
shared.
see my screen, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can see it in here.
Oh, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so I'm in the beta testing of Bifrost app, and the page I'm at right now is the referenda of if you use VDOT to vote for any of the referendum on Polkadot relay chain. So here is all the list of those live proposals. So if you select any of those, you can use your VDOT to vote support or negative, and also the conviction that you can select. That's the normal function of VDOT voting. And the new function is the delegation voting. So which means you can delegate your voting power of VDOT to any addresses you want. And also you can choose any of the dot organizations that registered in Bifrost. That's actually essentially the same thing as subsquery or Polka assembly, right? So there's much of dot organization that have registered there, and also on Bifrost. So the other one is that you can select to delegate your voting power of VDOT to Bifrost delegation OpenGov. So which means if you delegate your VDOT voting power to Bifrost OpenGov, and then the people can use the BNC to vote in the Bifrost delegation track, and then to agree on a proposal, and then which means all the delegated dots will be voted to the destination proposal on the relay chain. So that's two functions. So here's the simple demonstration. Like I can actually delegate my VDOT voting power to any address as we want, and then once I done this execution, the target address will receive my voting power. So you can see here is what I've already delegated to this address by using another one, and I've received the voting power. Here's 1.7 dot, and what I can use that is I can choose any of this proposal in the live proposal list, and then while I'm trying to vote any of the dot to the proposal, and you can see here is the delegation votes, right? You can see how much of the voting power I've queued, and what's the total voting power I have, that plus on the balance of my VDOT. So you can choose support or negative and the conviction, and then you can vote by using others delegations to you. So that's the new function. Okay.
Okay, so this new function can only be used on Bifrost governance, or it could be adopted on the OpenGov.
Well, if you have VDOT, you can just delegate your VDOT voting power to any other address, and the other address can vote by using of your VDOT. And the other selection is you can delegate your voting power to Bifrost OpenGov. So which means if the Bifrost OpenGov have the referendum, let's say a Kusamarian trying to delegate Kusamarians trying to vote for any of the proposal on Polkadot relay chain by using VDOT. So I'm a voter, I can delegate my VDOT to Kusamarian, right? They are a dot organization. So which means Kusamarian have my VDOT voting power to vote for any of proposal on relay chain.
Okay, cool. This will, attract more users to involve in the OpenGov. That's wicked,
Yeah, exactly.
which is really great. Yeah. Okay. Another very important event is the Singularity
Yeah.
event. And do you have any data to share?
Yeah.
Or
Since the liquidity that the incentive provide for the liquidity for dot and ease and also v dot and ease is being it's been about 2 months, and so far so good. I think in each of the network base Arbitrum and layer 2s, each of them have accumulated about 1 million liquidity. And for VDAO, there's about 150K on the liquidity. And right now, the APR is maintaining at around 60%. It's been it's been keeping on this status for like half a month. So I think the market might have their prediction on the return of this liquidity providing is about 60% of APR. So I guess the situation will be like this to maintain for the next couple of months. So maybe right now is already the peak of situation in this campaign.
okay, but it is surprised to me that the Arbitrum ranks in the first.
Arbitrum, yes. So Arbitrum and Base, they've both accumulated about 1 million liquidity. So they are at the top. Actually, they
Oh,
maybe the BSC and also BNC and Ether at midnight, they maintain the same level as Base and Arbitrum. So
okay, cool. Good to know. Okay, now let's move to the main topic of today, which is a stable coin, the HOLLAR and the pUSD. Because this really raised argument in the community because Hydration launched a HOLLAR, and the community have the expectations that maybe HOLLAR will be adopted, by the parity as the main stable coins. But at the meantime, Gavin remarked that he will adopt the pUSD. So the both of them have their own advantages. So to dive into, let's break this topic down. First of all, I would invite Brian to give us some more informations about pUSD because we have limited informations by now. And so, firstly, could you tell us, share more information about, what are the advantages of, Akala's stablecoin protocol?
Yeah, sure. So I think firstly, it's quite important to understand the high-level requirements and overall pictures. So from the previous Web3 summits talked by Gab, he mentioned that there are a number of changes he would like to make. One is completely changing the staking and the inflation and the staking rewards mechanism. Because he thinks the 10% inflation and paying to the nominators is a very costly thing to the network holders, network token holders. So what he would like to do is instead of paying a lot of amount of the inflate dot, it'd be more reasonable just pay with stable coins directly. So to ensure that covers the operation cost of the validators, which is something we can reasonably estimate the cost, and then slightly more to cover the additional, give them some profits. So that will significantly, because that was a hard cap of DOT, eventually we will not be able to mint more DOTs to pay for that. So the stablecoin is the solution. That also means so that implies a number of hard requirements to the stablecoin. For example, the treasury should be, the network itself should be able to issue the stablecoin directly. And then it should be able, there should be a mechanisms to ensure, for example, that we still over-collateralized stablecoin, there's usually stability fees or interest that people pay to borrow stablecoin. In this case, when it's the treasury issuing stablecoin, the treasury shouldn't pay such fee, because in the end, if the fee goes to treasury, then it's like one hand go to another hand. If the fee, so you shouldn't just pay the fee at all. Obviously, there needs some additional mechanisms to ensure to keep the peg of the stablecoin. So it is so that's basically requires, because this is deeply integrated into the system, it's integrated into the staking system, it's integrated into the treasury system. But in future, people shouldn't need to ask treasury to pay them DOT and then sell the DOT for fiat. They should just ask the treasury to pay them pUSD. And treasury doesn't need to, for example, maintain a reserve of stablecoin, which it does right now. It needs to return a reserve of USDT or USDC to pay for people. But with pUSD, it doesn't need to maintain. It can just mint it when it's needed, and then burn them when it's needed. So it needs to be deeply integrated with all the system. So it kind of implies this thing has to be deployed on SHub. It has to be implemented using pilots. It cannot be implemented using smart contracts or EVM, because otherwise there are a lot of integration issues that need to be solved. That to connect EVMs and staking system, for example, there are a lot more work. So then, the home zone protocol we developed for USD is pretty much the only options out there, other than rewrite one from scratch. But why making one from scratch when there is this existing protocol available to use? But as I said, it's not a simply copy paste. There are a lot of requirements that have been changed. Initially, for example, the home zone protocol supports multi-correctors. But for pUSD, is single correctors, is only DOT, is the only correctors. Previously, for the home zone protocol to work, we need to deal with liquid staking. But not, I have asked Gavin about this, and he said it wouldn't be an issue anymore because with the transition of the nominator rewards and with the addition of the proof of personhood, all these new mechanisms, there wouldn't be a lot of needs for liquid staking. So people wouldn't be charged the opportunity cost loss between locking DOT as correctors with stake the DOT. And in fact, this could be a new ways for them to earn rewards. For example, people can lock the DOT and mint pUSD and put pUSD to some DeFi protocols and earn the rewards from the pUSD protocols. So this will be kind of the new ways of staking, rather than selecting validators. So I haven't shared anything public about there's some latest changes, which I probably I have some documents, but I haven't shared them because I'm still finalizing the detail with Gap. Basically, one idea he have is this should have some direct connections with all different DeFi protocols, including, for example, the one on hydrogen, and other power chains, and of course all the EVM smart contracts on SRF directly. So that people should be able to say, I'll lock 100 DOT it will mint as much pUSD as possible and then send all the money to some DeFi protocols. It could be, for example, lending protocols or some swap as a liquidity provider. And then when the say dot price goes down, it will automatically withdraw some liquidity to maintain the position healthiness. So this kind of fully automated liquidity management things should unlock a lot of liquidities for pUSD, because now, well, not now, because when the staking rewards of have significantly reduced, then people are seeking new ways to earn rewards for the dot, and then this will be the one of the new ways by minting pUSD and earning pUSD rewards instead of dot rewards.
Okay, cool. And you submit the proposal for pUSD, and do you have some idea about when we can expect pUSD to launch?
It's very hard to say because, as I said, it's not just a copy paste of code. Porting existing code to there is not that hard, but still required a lot of changes. But with integrating as like all the features I just described previously, given also give a lot of new requirements and different mechanisms. For example, he don't trust centralized Oracle for obvious reason. So then for Oracle price, we can read from other powertrains, but that is not enough because like while it is not a bad source, there's a limit. It's not as secure as some other ways. So he also proposed some new Oracle mechanisms. For example, the creators, they can feature price and issue votes to say the price, and a lot of new ideas from Gap doing things very differently, and they all very interesting, but also very complicated to implement. So it's very hard to say exactly the launch date for the final version, but at least for the initial version with limited set of features, we are definitely targeting on for November for the initial release. Not necessarily release on the mainnet, but at least have something running within testnet, ready for auditing and ready for tests, and ready depending on the progress, try to get it on the mainnet as soon as possible.
Okay, cool. Also, although the Gavin remarked a pUSD, but you you are the proposer and you are the core developer of this protocol. So, can I say that HOLLAR is the actual issuer of this stablecoin?
No, we are just the developer, but not really issuer. Issuer is always the issuer of the pUSD is always the dot holders. But of course, we have some plans to deeply integrate with pUSD protocols, try to ensure taking advantage of its new mechanisms for that liquidity boosting, etc.
Okay, so this protocol belongs to Parity or HOLLAR?
So everything belongs to the fellowship. Yeah, so I'm also a member of fellowship, and then all the work is will be governed by the fellowship.
Okay, cool. Okay, now the next argument is for three of our guests, and you can feel free to jump in, which is the comparison between the HOLLAR and the pUSD, because the can. But I think Brian mentioned that there's a possibility that pUSD can also gain some yield. So our argument would be that what would be the decisive factors in the adoption of stablecoin, the yields or the safety or something else. Okay, so three of you feel free to jump in. Who's gonna jump in first?
I don't think it's really a competition, because I think they're both like pUSD and HOLLAR. They're both solving the same kind of core problem, which is like bringing utility and stability to the Polkadot ecosystem. It's like one of the good use cases and it's good to have like multiple stable coins within our own ecosystem. I don't think it's like one versus the other. And the use cases, for example, the adoption and like this decisive factor, as you say, will also obviously depend on users' preference and the whole like what the ecosystem needs in general. If people are like more into just the yield and for the stable coin, then obviously maybe HOLLAR like seems a better option. But then pUSD, like one of the big thing for me is like how Brian says, coming from the technical fellowship, so it does not have it's basically like a fresh start, so it does not have the AUSD kind of reputation attached to it. It's going to be like a completely new thing, so people will be backing it as well. So I don't see this as a I think they both basically strengthen the ecosystem, so it's not like one versus the other.
Yeah, I think I didn't make it clear. I think there's not about competition, and I think the argument more is about what is the decisive factors in adoption. I agree that both of these two stable coins are very promising, and here for this topic we're just wanna exploring the decisive factors in the adoption of a stable coin. Okay, so so other guests have opinions to add?
Yeah, I'd like to say something about HOLLAR. I think this very clearly positioning themselves, like, are they positioning themselves as a decentralized stablecoin in Ethereum? And a decentralized stablecoin is the over collateralized type. It can be used across any DeFi protocol, which is name is known as DAI, which is the most famous decentralized stablecoin. Um, in the ecosystem and across maybe 5 or 6 years issued by MakerDAO. So the question from me is like I'm not quite understanding the position of pDot because firstly is officially launched by a layer 0 or by a layer 1. So what stablecoin that actually issuance by a layer 1 right now is think about it, right? Is what name you can think about is Plasma, right? Codex, First Money, or Monad. These are identifying as a stablecoin blockchain. So what are they competing for? Is several lots of stablecoin payment advantages like gas paid by stablecoin or privacy, right? The confidential payment or instant transaction finality. Uh, and the most important part is the traditional finance integration, like partners with on or off ramp or card issuer or APIs for the digital accounts, debit account, and, and merchant payment. So the ultimate goal of this advantage is for the payment and the exchange of different blockchains and also in the real world asset. So like the point I'm not quite get it is what the ultimate payment goal of the pDot is trying to do, is trying to achieve. If you're saying the payment is identifying for the staking reward or inflation paid for the cost coverage of the operations validators, that's not enough because you're still using the same currency to pay it inside your own ecosystem. You're not trying to transfer the asset or exchange asset between different boards, between different nationwide. That's not like the liquidity exchange between or liquidity improving for the stablecoin. If we are positioning ourselves as a decentralized stablecoin because it's collateralized by DOT, right? It's over collateralized by DOT. So if this is the decentralized stablecoin, we are targeting DAI, the MakerDAO, and right now is known as USDS that issued by SCA. And the strategy that they've already changed years ago. They are trying to bring more like RWA and vote reserve into the stablecoin because they think the over collateralized stablecoin is not enough at the current circumstances, as most of the institutional clients have come into this industry. And also the second competitor is synthetics, which is very, I mean, like a classical over collateralized stablecoin issuer inside of DeFi that these things founded since 2018, I think. And they've also changed their milestones to change their roadmap to targeting the perpetual future market. So what's our stance for the decentralized stablecoin use case? So what's use case that we trying to do by issuing the over collateralized the stablecoin, and especially is trying to issue by a layer 0, right, by blockchain. So this is a little bit complex between these two concepts, a layer 0 and also stablecoin. So what we stand for, I don't have an answer yet. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
Brian.
raised many good points, Tyron. But I think there's one thing people kind of missed is that so firstly, the core requirements of pUSD is to serve the Polkadot ecosystem. Unlike, for example, any other stablecoins, one of the main core requirement is serve the token holders, or not the stablecoin holders, but the protocol token holders, to make money in some way, and to pump the price. So they need to grow. They have to grow, because that is how to generate more revenues. It's the only way is by growing the target, the amount of token issued. pUSD is very different in this way. So firstly, it's kind of a common good public project. Obviously, it serves the Polkadot dot holders, but it's not trying to generate revenues by itself. It doesn't need to be able to generate revenues. So it doesn't need to. It's not definitely not trying to, for example, become the best stable coins. This is never the goal. But we have, I don't know, probably 50 stable coins now. Like Cloudflare just announced they're going to run another stable coin a few days ago. It's just like there's a new stable coin coming up every few months. But that is fine. The liquidity fragmentation issue is kind of already solved. We have many cross-chain protocols. We have many stable swap protocols. We have many cross-chain stable swap protocols to allow people, with some fancy intent systems, at least, well, you can't run them today on Polkadot, but there are solutions out there people can build to allow easily converting your pUSD on Polkadot to, I don't know, DAI or some USDC, USDT on any other chains, by paying some like cross-chain swap fees, which shouldn't be that high. So with this solved, but because it's quite easy to solve, all you need to do is get people to put a lot of the stablecoin into some liquidity pools, and then we will have it. So Polkadot is the pUSD wouldn't be limited. It doesn't need to grow. It doesn't need to grow beyond the Polkadot ecosystem. You can just stay happily using the Polkadot ecosystem. If people want to use Polkadot ecosystem, well, just swap to other stablecoin. Or it may be, for example, HOLLAR. I don't know exactly what's the plan, but maybe they want to expand to other ecosystem. And in that case, you can swap pUSD to HOLLAR. I'm sure there will be a lot of stable swap pools to allow you to do the swap between those two. And then, so it doesn't really matter which tokens you're holding, whether it's HOLLAR or pUSD. If you can just swap them with minimum storage fees, does it really matter? That people would just trade them as the same thing if they can be easily converted to each other. So it's not really a competition anymore, because people, as I said, that we can convert to each other very easily. Yeah, so the main purpose of pUSD is just to serving the treasury, serving the new tokenomics of Polkadot. and with like all the fancy new integrations, they haven't finalized how to do it, and unlocking the liquidity. So all the right now the locked dot, staking dot, they just sit there, pretty much does nothing. With liquid staking, they can be used in DeFi protocols, but still, majority of those dot are not in the liquid staking protocols, so they just sit there, doesn't do a lot of things. But with pUSDs, then it will be the default mechanisms on the because it's like part of the Polkadot system chain. It will be the default ways for many people to put the dots there, minting pUSD and some having those additional liquidities inject to other DeFi protocols and very possibly on other power chains to boosting the liquidities for the whole ecosystem.
Cool. So, Tyrone, does Brand answers your question?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, if that stablecoin is still maintaining in the inside of Polkadot ecosystem, that's good. Let's see what's going on, because I mean, the ultimate problem is still the liquidity, because if we still remain inside of ecosystem, who is the liquidity provider for pUSD against DAI, pUSD against USDC and USDT, because ultimately the validators, they need to cash out, right? They need to exchange the pUSD to fiat or any of the stablecoin that support fiat. So if the liquidity is not enough, and there will be a problem of DePIC, and there will be a problem of collateral of DAI being liquidated.
Yep, I've asked pretty much the same question to Gab. He said he will solve it.
Yeah. Okay, all right. All right, I see. Okay.
Okay. Because it's hard to say, so let's see what will happen. So, so Calyx would consider launching its own stablecoin, or would you support lending with both, HOLLAR and pUSD as collateral? Pacman.
Oh, sorry, I was mute there. I don't. First of all, I was really enjoying the conversation between Tyrone and Brian because it was something that like I always think about as well. But I think Tyrone has a good point on like I think the earlier, Christian, you asked me the question about decisive factor. I was thinking that like so when, for example, each of these stable coins, if they move out of Polkadot as well, and it's like cross chain, and like you can then that could be a decisive factor for like adoption, because within the Polkadot ecosystem, liquidity might still be an issue. And to answer your question about Calyx using a stable coin, I don't think so. I mean, we have HOLLAR, we have pUSD, we don't need another stable coin. And then again, we don't want to have the same like liquidity issues. I think if there's already a tech that exists and it works, then we don't need to go and start building the tech from the start. We can just use the existing tech. We'll be happy to partner with Akala, and we're happy to partner with anybody else that want to. And we can just use the same stable coin for our, because this is something that we considered as well, because with the DeFi lending and borrowing, we did consider giving interest and bonuses, and for example all the earnings in stablecoin. But because we don't have a stablecoin, so we didn't actually consider that. But if, for example, we were to partner with Akala or Hydration, then we would be happy to use that stablecoin and rather bring in our own one. Because I don't think launching our own stablecoin just for the sake of giving out rewards makes sense. Because Tyrone, like he said, you need like utility of the token as well. You need liquidity and everything. So I don't think that'll work for Calyx.
Yeah, it's better Calyx first to focus on lending protocols first, and not involving.
And also, this is like Calyx is at early stages. If you try to do so many things at the same time, then you can always mess it up as well. So like stablecoin is not something that is like a priority for us at the moment. For us at the moment, it's like mostly like I said, we were nearly finishing our kind of the code and the audit and stuff. And for us, it's more important to launch the project, do what we have actually promised to deliver. And then, eventually, if a time comes and, in a few years' time when, demand is really high and we need to do our own stable coin, we might consider it maybe in, I don't know, 5-6 years' time. But at the moment, we're more than happy to partner with anybody that wants to come in and offer, like we can basically use their stable coin.
Yeah, cool. Good to hear. Because it's never easy to launch a protocol and to operating it and to make sure it's safe. So yeah, and it's good to focus on the main functions of your dApps first. So next, I will move to Tyrene because with Polkadot inflation decreasing and the proposal has passed and will be executive officially in the next year of March. So we were expecting that this decreasing of inflation will release more DOT and which will flow into the DeFi protocols. But now the stablecoins require collateral and which will lock liquidity again. How do you view the balance here?
Okay, so the question is like HOLLAR and pDot who will like to lock more DAO here.
Yes. Yes. The
Okay.
question is yeah.
It's
because
like liquidity competing between HOLLAR and pDot, right? Well, it depends on the user's preference.
No, I think the question is not
if you're the user who like more of risk.
Yeah, sorry, Tyrene, to interrupt because I think the question is not about the HOLLAR and the stablecoin. It's about these two stablecoin gonna lock the DOT, for collateral to issue this stablecoin. This will lock some liquidities and but the decreasing of inflation will release some DOT. So there's some conflicts. And how do you see the balance here?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Sorry.
Yes, please, Magman, please.
Okay.
No, I think what Christian's trying to say is that a lot of liquidity and because there's no more new DOT issuance because it's going to be a cap supply, and then a lot of liquidity is going to be locked now using as a collateral for these stable coins. So how do you see effect on the DOT, potentially the price as well, and the whole ecosystem, and there's no more new DOT come in when the cap supply is reached, and a lot of supply is locked as well as a collateral for these coins. Is that question? Is that how you mean it?
Yeah.
Well, the cap of the inflation brings more interest of users thinking for the opportunities of yield. The yield will coming from the decentralized scenarios, use cases from hydration, or even more of the protocols that will be built on Asset Hub or we say Polkadot Hub. So this use case will be involved like Vault, a collateral asset, and also more like interesting lending and borrow protocol like Helix. So I think the use cases will be provided by these protocols, and the release of the more liquidity will goes right in there. But I guess there might be some influential for the VDOT, to be honest, because more of use case will be required as DOT as collateral, and fewer people will looking at to stake DOT. Well, VDOT maybe that's an issue, but we'll try to make it possible to directly support the users to deposit VDOT as a collateral to get engaged for the DOT use cases. I'm not sure if I'm clearly answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you for the elaboration makes me more clear about this situation. Thank you. And okay, next topic is about Polkadot 2.0. Because Pacman have another meeting after 10 minutes. So how about you share your opinions first, which is, Polkadot 2.0 is about to launch, and what are the most practical changes Polkadot 2.0 will bring to your applications?
And I think everything about Polkadot 2.0 is great, especially moving on from parachains. And now, like the agile core time, that I think that is like one of the biggest sort of advantage, because you look back, a project is defined by success, and even though the whole tech and the idea was great, but like we don't have a lot of parachains that are still success. If you look, for example, the parachains that were started from day one, and then we had like so many of them, but like how many of them were actually successful? We don't have a lot to show for it. So I think with the new model, with the agile core time, and with the one-click deployment as well, I think this is going to change a lot of things, bring a lot of positive narrative as well, because people still have some PTSD from parachains, myself included. So it's just, I think everything about Polkadot 2.0 is great. I think I'm really looking forward to how the next year goes, and I think Gavin back in Polkadot as well as a CEO, I think that's at the parity. That's also a really positive step. So I don't have anything concerning. For example, I think I have just like nothing but positive vibes for it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And let's looking forward together. So Tyrone, what's your take on this? What are the most practical changes Polkadot 2.0 will bring to your application?
Yeah, that's the compatible for more easier integration on the Polkadot Hub. So we would like to see, as much of the application that can be deployed easily on that hub. That's will be known as the component or the opportunity component of the liquidity. So more liquidity is essential for the DeFi protocols, is essential for VDOT as well. So that's a quick and simple view.
Yeah, make your application more quick and simple. So there's also another concerns raised by the community, which is the also conflicts with what is 2.0 and what is gem, and is there 3.0. So I will invite Brian to elaborate to our community, what's the relationship between Polkadot 2.0 and gem, and would you say gem is essentially Polkadot 3.0?
Yeah, people have been discussing about this quite a few times. It's kind of it, and like Polkadot, like at least from like 1.0 to 2.0 is like incremental upgrades. It's just new features adds one by one, and until today we have quite many nice features. So we declare is Polkadot 2.0. But Gen is quite different. It's not an incremental change. It's just creating a brand new Gen chain from scratch, basically. The core idea is still shared from Polkadot, like the beefy grandpa suffer the consensus. Many like algorithms, consensus algorithms are using from the Polkadot 1.0, 2.0. But a lot of things are also created very differently compared to it. So it's a new trend. But the key is that it's fully compatible with parachains. So all existing parachains can be easily migrated to the Gem chain. They don't need to do much work. There's no, well, you probably need to do a run. Runtime is not essentially required. It's nice to have, but the parachain doesn't even need to do a runtime query to be compatible. So yeah, I don't know what's the official statement about this, but personally, I think it's reasonable to say Gen is Polkadot 3.0, which is Polkadot 2.0 plus many new features.
Okay, cool. Now we are more clear about this. Okay, thank you so much. I think we've touched all the topics we prepared today. And thanks for all the guests for sharing, and thank you for all the audience watching us today. And I recommend everyone to follow each of our guests to keep posted about the progress. And also PokeWorld will keep closely to the progress of the 3 project as well. So I think that's all for today, and until next time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.